Frank Bartoli. I'm now at the age of 76, and yes.
Frank, what was a significant experience that you felt vulnerable, and how did it affect you?
When I was first diagnosed about my eyesight, going back to 1983, I was about 34 then, and I remember I actually went to two specialists just to get second opinion to make sure, and they both said that I had a condition called retinitis pigmentosa, which is RP for short, and they both told me that eventually I will go blind. And I said, well, then things started coming into my head to think, going blind, I won't be able to drive, I won't be able to do the garden, I won't be able to work, I won't be able to do this, I won't be able to do that. I'm thinking, there's nothing left for my life, that's all I was thinking, all the things that I won't be able to do. And I just thought, when that happens, I think I'll just take a bottle of tablets and, and say goodbye to the world. But then we got a phone call from the Royal Institute for the Blind, and they came and said, they're doing a camp, snow skiing at Mount Borbor. And they asked me, to come along, and I said, no, I don't want to go to those things. My wife comes as she always does, she encourages me, and she says, no, go. Anyhow, I did go, and I suppose that was the first time I saw, I got involved with actually blind people, and I saw these two young people, a guy and a girl, totally blind, skiing down this mountain, with assistance, and they're skiing. I said, if they can ski, I suppose I can do it too. They were skiing better than me because I've never skied. So I suppose that was the first that sort of opened my eyes about, well, there are things that you can do if you're blind or vision impaired. We'll see. And we did have a lovely time in that week. Yeah, we really. And I suppose things like that. Then I got calls from the other association, it used to be called the Association for the Blind, and people are ringing me from there about different sports, playing blind cricket and all this, blind lawn bowls, and I think blind cricket, how do you do this and all that. Anyhow, I went along because I always was sporty, and again, seeing all these blind, vision impaired, and there was a lot of totally blind people there because you have to have so many in the team with the cricket and things like that. And I'm thinking, well, these people are playing blind cricket, and and I discovered that a lot of these people do go to work and do this and do that, and you know, and I know one of them that have even climbed Mount Kilimanjaro or something. I can never say that word. All these things, and I suppose I said to myself, well, yeah, there is life, even though you know when you can't see, because looking at these people. So I suppose, you know, having associations like this and being involved with those sort of, because I've never been involved with any blind people, I never had to, you know, but actually seeing so many blind, vision impaired people doing so many things. And I can even remember I got in the taxi with one of them coming home, you know, and got home, then the next week came with him again, and he's actually telling the taxi driver, now you go down here and you turn left and then you turn right, and I'm thinking, how does he know all this? He can't see. And it's amazing. And so I suppose that was my learning experience from these people, being involved with people in the same condition, doesn't matter what disability you got, you do learn from them. And I suppose the important thing, you know, I watched and I listened, and at that time I could see what they were doing and all that. And I thought, well, life isn't finished then, so there is hope, and there are all these things that I can do. So you know, as I said, that's sort of encouraged me then. Well, there's no need to do anything silly with, you know. I will be able to do a lot of other things. Yeah, certainly, yeah, I won't be able to drive, so that's those sort of things. And we do. We still need people to help us, you know, because to get around, you either get around with a cane or a guide dog or someone guiding you. You know, and there's certain things, even though we can do a lot of things, but we do have to be careful. You know, I know at the beginning I used to still walk like 100 miles an hour, and I'd bump into things and hit my head and all that. And I thought, well, I have to slow down and just slow my pace, and you do things a lot slower, which I did hate. And I thought, well, you either slow it down or you're going to hurt yourself. So that's the way, you know, and you learn. Yeah. And with a lot of things, you do have to be careful when it comes to cooking, when you're dealing with, you know, open fire and all that sort of stuff. But these days, there's so many things now that are all talking things, and you know, even stoves that talk and all that, and you can't burn yourself. I don't know what they call them now, but those sort of things. So yeah, and again, through Vision Australia and all that, you know, you get that assistance from them to, you know, to guide you through life. So after all that, I was able to do a lot of things. You know, I continued on with my life as normal, just at a slower pace. But I, you know, played a lot of sports, did a lot of voluntary work in the local community, and even at the local school down in Templestowe, you know, so I was able to do all those things. So really, I thought to myself, well, I don't know why I thought at the beginning, you know, I won't be able to do anything. Well, it's amazing. I probably did a lot more being vision impaired than I did when I had sight. So, yeah, so so that was that to that question.
So, in those times of difficulties, what did you hope, and how did that hope motivate you to take actions or have certain attitudes to achieve it?
Well, I suppose, I don't know, to answer this question, yeah, hope that, well, I suppose one would think about it is maybe they'll find some cure for, you know, for blindness. I know they're doing a lot of research and all that into it, so that's probably one hope. If we can get rid of one disability, it'll be great. That's many more. You know, it's I'm trying to think what I'm sort of lost with this question. Sorry. Yeah, well, as I explained before, you know, to continue on doing the things that you love to do, not to you know, not to stop anything, even though you know it's difficulty to do things, but I've always found, I always said to myself, there are other ways of doing things. If you can't do it this way, there's other ways. It's just like, you know, you're driving a car and the road is blocked and they divert you another way. It might be a longer way, but it'll still get you to where you want to get to. So I've always said, okay, if I can't do this way, I find another way to do it. And I can always remember when I used to say to my wife, when I wanted to hammer a nail, and I found two ways of doing it. One, I used to say to Marie, can you hold the nail while I hammer it? And she used to say, no thanks. I said, why? Because I'm scared I won't hit the wrong nail. No. I said, oh, all right. And then the other way, I thought, well, I get a bit of pliers and I hold the nail and I tap it slowly and slowly, and after I bent about 9 of them, the 10th one goes in, because by that time I made the hole that big. The 10th one's I've got, but I didn't give up. And that's the thing, I never gave up. I thought, well, you know, there is a way of getting this nail in, and I'll get it in there. And eventually, you know, I got it, and I think, I've done it. So the other hope is, you know, that I can continue doing things, even though they're hard. I can try. Giving up is easy, and there have been times when I felt like giving up, and I had given up, and then I thought, oh, let's go back and try it again, you know, and that to me, and thinking, you know, there is that hope that you could still do certain things, you know, so don't give up. You can do it, like I said, there is another way. So if I can't go that way, well, I'll go this way, and you know, I'll get there. And so yeah, and I suppose there's not much more I could say to that. So yeah.
So, how did your faith help you or give you guidance in the time of suffering?
Yes, well, in you know, Christian hope, I suppose you know, I probably, and sometimes I think I'm lucky to be vision impaired, because I see things more now than I did see when I had sight, you know, and I now trusting in God that He's there helping me to get along, because you know, I suppose I can tell you the story of the day when I was walking along Doncaster Road going to Victoria Street to get to my bus, and all of a sudden this person just came out of the sky, I don't know where, and he just held out his hand and said, take my hand and I'll get you across. And I was sort of stunned, you know, and as if somebody just hit me in the head with something. And then we went across Doncaster Road, and we crossed Victoria Street. I can't remember even us saying anything, and when I got to that corner, he just disappeared. And I thought, where's he gone? I haven't even said to say thank you or anything. It just disappeared, and I just stood in that corner thinking, what just happened? What was it? I felt different, and I felt something different, and I thought, it couldn't be. And then I said, it must be him. He's come down and just to show me the way. And he said, and as I was walking, you know, about 30 or 40 metres to the bus stop, I hear the sound in my head saying, see, I told you, you don't have to worry about not being able to see, because I'll know, I will guide you. I will always send someone to guide you, an angel. I remember getting to the bus stop there, and there was a tree there, and I grabbed it and hugged it. And I said, you know, tree, I've passed you 1,000,000 times, and I never saw you, and now, because I can't see, I see you there. So, you know, and I appreciate you. And from that day onwards, I found that, you know, well, there you go. He just told me, you don't have to be scared. Just go wherever you want to go, and I will be there. You know, I'll guide you. And it's true. And wherever I went, and I've gone to so many places in Victoria, I've been on every train, bus and tram, and I never worried, because I thought, he'll be sending me someone if I'm in trouble. And you know, sometimes I had to wait a few more minutes, but I think, oh, where is he? Where is he? And I think, oh, here it comes. Someone's come, and you know, and yeah. So you know, and I always other things I look for. You know, when I go into dark places, I feel a bit sort of claustrophobic, and you know, worried because everything's so dark, and you know, and I can't see anything, and so I start looking for that light, and I see that light, you know, and I'm full of perspiration. All I want to do is just get out. But I look at that light, and once I see that light, you know, I can feel the perspiration, the fear, and everything just going out of me. And I suppose, you know, there's something there, and you know, when we pass away, you know, we follow that light. Well, I suppose I see myself ahead of everybody because I've already seen that light. So I suppose, you know, being vision impaired or blind, you know, I found that light already. So I have to be thankful, you know, for my fate, because I suppose I've had enough signs to say, well, you know, how much more can I tell you? That I'm there, and I'm there for you. You don't have to be afraid. And if when you're lost or you're in the dark, just find that light, and I'll give you comfort. And I found that, and that's what I do with most of my life. So I don't fear about you know, going anywhere or doing anything, because he is there, and I'm one of the lucky ones because I've had those signs. So yeah, so that's you know, that's my fate.
I would love to hear how important your wife was to you, Frank. Of course, if you don't feel comfortable, you don't need to tell me anything.
Oh yes, yeah. No, you know, she was really, you know, my life. You know, inside me, when you've been known someone for 57 years, married for nearly 54, you know, she was everything. She was always encouraging, even when I wanted to give up things. I said, oh, you know, I don't think I'll do that anymore. Oh, no, you love it, you know, you do it. Always there to support me. Pardon me. Always there and back me up, and always there, you know, take me to places. Sometimes she even stayed there for hours, you know, thinking that, you know, she's got so much things to do when she gets home, but she just stayed there, you know, all those hours and all that. So, yeah, very important to me. Yeah, she was my life, really. She's, you know, always inside me, if I can put it that way. Yeah, I always thought at times, you know, years before, I used to think, oh, what it'd be like, you know, if she wasn't here and all that. And I had that feeling in my stomach, and I don't like that. And I said, no, put that away. Now it's reality, because now she's gone, and you know, I get that feeling in my stomach. I can't get rid of it. You know, it takes quite a while, but you know, what can I say? She's just was everything. And I keep saying she was me. She sacrificed so much for me. You know, it was all, me first and second, and with everybody else, she was always everybody first and she's second. So yes, I always hated when we did our marriage vows, for better, for worse, for richer, poorer and all that. The last one I hated was till death do us part. I always thought that's never going to come. But in reality, it does come, and that's the part I always hated. Yeah, and I know I miss him deeply, but I think now she's my angel, and and I'm sure I can hear whispering things to me when to say things or do things and all that. I can still, so I think she's now my real angel, and and I'm sure she's up there with God and guiding me and the rest of our family. Yeah.
So, last question, Frank. What would you say to encourage people who are struggling with life's precarious conditions?
Well, the number one is it's to never to give up, no matter what, because and it's easy to give up than to continue on. And I must admit, we're human. We try, we can't do this, we go, but don't give up. And as I said before, if something you think it's difficult to do and all that, or there's always another way, and you find another way. Like I said before, with the nails and all that stuff, and you're driving a car and they block the road, you've got to go a different way. There is always, pardon me, there's always a way. So just, that's the biggest thing. And think positive as much as you can. I know it's hard because, again, sometimes it's hard for me to think positive. But when I look at it, I think, no. I thank God a lot of times, because I always say to myself, Frank, yes, it might be hard, say, to mow the lawn, for instance, but you're still doing it. Even though it takes you 3 times as long as what it used to, you're still doing it. So thank God you're still doing it, because you just don't know what's around the corner. All of a sudden, it could just be cut off, just like it happened to my wife. She was so active, and all of a sudden, she was confined to a wheelchair, couldn't do anything. So, and every chore or anything that you need to do, I always say, it doesn't matter, oh God, I don't feel like doing that, that's boring and all that. Still, just think of it, that at least you're able to do it. And that's the important thing. Even if it takes you 3 times, 10 times as long as anybody else, which I know that happens to me. Oh, God, this is going to take me so long to do, but I always put in my head, but just think, Frank, you're still able to do it, even though it's hard, it's slower and all that, but just think you're still able to do it. So don't give up, think positive as much as you can, and that's the way I continue on with my life, because once I stop that, everything stops. And to me, a lot of people used to say to me, "Oh, you're an inspiration. Oh, you get on the train, the bus, or whatever. You come on your own. How do you do it?" I said, "Well, you've only got 2 things: you stop your life, or you continue with your life." I decided to continue with my life, even though it's difficult and hard and tough and all that. But you continue. If you do it the other way, you've got no life. So, so just keep going. Don't give up. And again, think positive.
Wow. Thank you very much, Frank, for this touching story. I can't imagine what would happen if I had been in the same situation. But your experiences, especially your positive attitudes, have taught me a lot. I'm sure these experiences will help many people who are facing challenges in life. Thank you very much for giving me time and sharing these such important lesson for us. Thank you.